I'd like to thank you all for being here this afternoon. I always appreciate the media and what you all do in helping us get the word out. And in most everything we do, when we need it, you all have always been there, and I greatly appreciate that. Just as today, Wiggington case obviously has been going on for some time, and during the course of this investigation into the murder of Elsie Wiggington, Patricia Wiggington has been interviewed numerous times by different agencies. After reviewing our records, it has been determined that there were discrepancies within the case that prompted the Sheriff's Office to seek warrants for obstruction and accessory after the fact for Patricia Gail Wiggington of Madison Heights, Virginia. Mrs. Wiggington is the ex-wife of Frederick L. Wiggington, Jr., who was previously arrested for the murder of Elsie Wiggington, his wife at the time. The warrants were served yesterday, January the 12th, at approximately 8:25 p.m., and Ms. Wiggington is currently being held in Amherst Adult Detention Center without bond, and our investigation is still ongoing. So we ask that anyone in the community that may have additional information, regardless of how small or significant you may think it is, we are interested in that, and please give us a call, or if you wish to remain anonymous, you can get that information to us through Central Virginia Crime Stoppers. This time I'll try to address any questions that anyone may have.
Sheriff, was there any incident or any difficulty when going to arrest Patricia?
No, she was arrested without incident.
Back last year, she told us that she was willing to help you all with any of the part of the investigation. What led you all to make the arrest, and what was said that you can talk about?
Mr. Robinson, as I've said, the investigation has been ongoing since day one when we did realize this situation of her disappearance had taken place. Over the last several months, we continue to interview folks. We've interviewed her on several occasions, and they were constantly, when we interview someone, go back and take those statements and look at other statements that we have gotten, and when things don't seem to add up, you dig a little deeper, and that normally leads us in directions that we need to go. So therefore, that's kind of how this situation has come about. We had strong suspicions anyway. We just had to get there, and it took some time to get there. And that's merely how it is, the continuation of interviews and whatnot, and then going back and corroborating statements that are made, statements that were previously made, and that led us to where we are today.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how you feel being here today, knowing that there's now 2 people arrested in connection with Elsie's murder?
Ultimately, as I've said from day one, Elsie Wiggington did not by any means deserve what happened to her. And as the law enforcement agency that's in charge of this community, it's our job to hold or bring forward anyone and everyone that may be any way connected to what happened to this woman. And, you know, it's a very unfortunate situation as to what happened, and my heart continues to go out to the family. You know, this should not have happened to anyone, and you know, I just have to say that the men and women of our agency here, and the men and women of agencies that have been helping us with this, have done an outstanding job to bring these 2 individuals to the forefront and be arrested and held accountable for the death of Elsie.
You came back in once this case was really getting a lot of attention. Do you feel that the previous administration failed in doing what they were supposed to do, and Elsie could still be here today had they done their jobs back then?
I can't and will not comment on what someone did or did not do. Next year, I will have been in this business for 40 years. And I can say that the day that Elsie was found, it was a very indifferent feeling for me because of the time lapse that had occurred. since she went missing. And again, all I can say is I attribute her being found and arrest being made to all the dedicated men and women that stand in harm's way each and every day so that all of us and everyone else can live and go about our communities feeling as safe as possible. And, you know, I'm not going to elaborate or say anything about previous administrations, what they did or didn't do. But as soon as it came to our attention, we aggressively have been on this case and have brought the individuals that are accountable for this to the forefront.
Sheriff Ayers, you said that you weren't going to bring charges against anyone until you knew that they would stick, that there wouldn't be anything that they could find in court. Do you feel confident in this case with Patricia the same thing?
I feel very confident. Our men and women that have put this case together have consulted with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and run all of their evidence and statements by the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and they feel comfortable. That is their job to do the prosecution end of it. Is our job to bring those that are accountable to that point. And so all of that has been run through that office to make sure that they feel comfortable with what's transpired so far.
And at this time, is there anyone else you believe that might be involved in this murder investigation?
I'll leave it at the investigation is ongoing. And as I said earlier, anyone in the community that may know anything or be able to help us, to please let us know. We're very confident with the two that we have now as definitely being suspects in this case, but I'll just leave the other part being open.
This is the ex-wife, Frederick L. Wiggington. Just to clarify, were they married before the marriage to Elsie Wiggington? Or?
That's correct. Patricia was an ex-wife prior to Elsie. Any other questions?
Was Patricia living in Elsie's home when you arrested her?
No, she was living there at the time that Fred Wiggington was arrested, but she has since moved from that location on Pendleton Drive and is now living in Madison Heights.
And he was arrested in August, right? Around August 14th?
Justin, that sounds correct. I don't have that information in front.
The press conference that you had announcing that remains.
That is correct.
So at that time, she would have been living there.
She was living there at that time. That is correct.
Can you talk a little bit about the conspiracy charge? Just like what does that usually mean? Like conspiracy after the fact?
Accessory after the fact. Accessory after the fact could be an individual that gives information that tries to elude law enforcement or send them in a different direction or cover up or hide any type of information. Obstruction is that if you give information to mislead or obstruct an investigation. So, the accessory of after the fact is that there were things done after the fact of the initial incident that afforded and or aided the situation itself to happen.
And with Fred Wiggington, he was at first charged with second-degree murder, but then those charges were bumped up to first-degree murder. Do you think we might see something similar happen with Patricia?
Again, that would be left up to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and their investigation and what they decide to do as far as charges that are currently against her and what may be brought in the future would be their call.
What kind of penalties is she facing with these charges?
I'd have to look at the code section to see exactly what penalties this carries. I can't shoot it from the cuff. I don't know. Any other questions?
Elsie's family, and if so, what was their reaction to another person being
I have spoken with Elsie's sister, who is sitting here today. Y'all feel free, if she's willing, y'all talk to her. And but the family has been very cooperative throughout the entire investigation, and I can't speak to how this makes them feel, this additional arrest here today. But hopefully what we've done has brought some closure for them. Never will we replace Elsie by any means, but hopefully it has brought some closure to the family. Anyone else? Well, thank all of you all for being here this afternoon, and again, we appreciate what you all do each and every day. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Did everyone get a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all.